off your chest. I'm located in Baltimore City, Maryland. This podcast is for everybody out there who thinks that they may not have a story, but I believe they do. There's a lot of people in this world that I have a great amount of respect for, and I believe that their stories should be told. Some are strangers, some are people I've known my entire life. Today we have David Washmon from Dallas, Texas. He is not the closest friend I've ever had, but after a conversation with him the other day, I feel like I've known this guy my entire life. Big fan of Tool. Yes. And so David comes to us from Dallas, Texas. He's in the banking industry. Don't really know a whole lot about his backstory. He's a good Christian guy, got a great family. And I just want to hear his story. So turning it over to you, David. How was it growing up where you live?
Hey, Joe. So I grew up in the mid cities of Dallas, Fort Worth. Uh, had a great family upbringing, to tell you the truth. Mom and dad were great. That relationship became strained over time. But I mean, you're talking about a guy that played sports his whole life. Um, it was back in a time where your parents would let you run all over the place. I mean, we didn't have to come home until after dark. We didn't have to worry about anything. I mean, the neighborhood I grew up in, there was kids playing baseball, basketball, football in every yard. So, it was just a typical middle class environment that I was pretty fortunate to be a part of.
All right. So growing up for you was kind of normal, basically, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, had the mom and dad in the household. I grew up with an older sister that was like a second mom to me. Truth be told, my parents probably should have split up a long time ago, but they stayed together. Uh, there was some tension there. There was some, um, you know, somewhat verbal, physical abuse at times. But, overall, I know that there's people that grew up in a lot worse situation than I did.
Yeah. I grew up in a very similar situation, so I completely get it. You said you were involved in sports. What sports did you play?
Yeah, man, Joe, I played everything. I excelled at a lot of sports, basketball, tennis, uh, baseball. Uh, I even played soccer for a stint, for about 6 or 7 years. But, you know, after my ninth grade year, the baseball got too fast. And, my high school coaches wanted me to decide whether to play basketball or tennis, and I chose basketball. Uh, Played both at a pretty reasonably high level. Um, but that's when, high school started to where you're wanting to get involved in certain things. And, I'll, my family doesn't know this, right? But like I started, dealing drugs because I wanted the money, right? So you're talking about a middle class kid that was, dealing cocaine. And my buddy and I did that. We would do it at certain clubs because I never cared about turning any age except 16. 16 was it. Then you could just drive anywhere you wanted to. Because
Sounds
I
like my
had a
daughter.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a fake ID at 16, so I didn't need to worry about being 21. I just needed a car. So, and then once I had a car, my buddies and I could go to Dallas. We could go to Fort Worth. We could go anywhere we wanted to. We had a connection down in Galveston that would get us what we needed. And, then I had a buddy that we were doing these kind of deals, and he actually got stabbed. Um, He's a big dude like you. He just grabbed the dude and hit him, knocked him out. So they both fell down. And then they both passed out. And the police said, well, this individual's wanted for murder in Louisiana. So they extradited. So he didn't have to do anything to the guy. Um, that was kind of an eye opener for me. And, by the grace of God, I retired before anything happened to me. So I was pretty fortunate in that sense. And I was just lucky, man. That's all there was to it. I mean, God's always there. You may not know he's there, but he's there.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right now, that's 100% truth, and that's something that I've definitely gained a lot of respect for as I've gotten older and kind of look back in my life. It's definitely a higher power, God, whatever anybody believes in. There's something looking after the majority of people in this world, and I don't think a lot of people give that enough credit. To be real honest with you, um,
Yeah, that's spot on. That's spot on. I think that I think my family and I, like my wife, we're more spiritual. We do state that we're Christian, but I think that in this day and age, people have kind of twisted what being a Christian is, and they use it for their own personal gain, and that's both sides of the fence. I mean, you want true authentic, you want to find out what that person's true character is, and my wife brought me back to God. I truly believe God put my wife in my life to save my life. We've been together for 17 years, and I think that if it wasn't for her, then I don't know where I would be. And I think
how did
that's a
you guys
direct.
meet?
Well, we met. Actually, we played in pro and semi-pro sand volleyball tournaments, doubles tournaments. Not saying we were pros or anything like that, but we played in pro and semi-pro tournaments, and that's how we met. I mean, a volleyball community is very ancestral, for lack of a better word, right? But
Like
that's almost anything.
90210.
Yeah, right. It's almost like anything, right? It's like high school. It's like different companies and their functions when you go out for happy hour. But so I saw her and she's beautiful. She's half Ecuadorian, Cheyenne, and just typical Wado. She's white girl, Ecuadorian, and Cheyenne. And I saw her, and she's was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. But I waited. I waited a while, and because, like I said, when there's new meat, the wolves come.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just needed to find out what type of individual she was, if she was just wanting to have a good time, or if she was going to shoot people down. And sure enough, like I didn't see her, you know, dating guy after guy after guy. I didn't see her dating anyone. And but the story goes is that she's very proud of this, is that she hit on me. She came on to me, believe it or not. And Joe, I know you've seen my pictures of my wife. You'd be like, what the hell? But um, but she actually was, we were at a tournament, and she was with a friend, and that's the thing with volleyball. I mean, you're already half naked anyway. The girls are wearing bikinis, you're just wearing shorts, right? So her friend goes, we haven't had sex in so long. She goes, who do you want to rape? And my future wife pointed right at me. And at that moment, I almost pulled my pants down, my shorts down right there. And so
Right.
the rest is history. But
Yeah.
truth be told, I was looking and watching, and a couple of friends, told her that he has been wanting to talk to you. He was just waiting and giving it enough time to see what you were gonna do. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I had to earn her love and respect because at the beginning of it, I was an asshole. Um, like I said, I was in a very self-destructive place at the time, and she stuck by me. She stuck by me, and when I told her that we were going to become a family, I wanted us to become a family. That I said I will prove myself every day to you. Every day, I'll prove why you should be with me. And you can call it what you want. You can call it whipped. You can call it anything you want. But I believe when you find the one, you find the one, and you do anything you can to keep that person and always show how much you love and respect them.
So dig into that a little bit. You said you were in a dark place when you guys met. What do you
Yeah.
mean by
So
saying?
so I've always been I've always been pretty self-destructive. Um, I've always had like a heavy appetite for anything and everything. That's one of the reasons I don't gamble because like I know what type of behavior I would have. That's why I stopped doing any type of drugs or anything like that. Like I stopped doing anything and everything practically when I met her. It was like overnight. I mean, because I listened to what she was about, and it was just a light switch that just clicked on. Um, with jobs, I would always give 100%, but I always knew I could find another. I was single. Um, I didn't have any responsibilities, and you staying out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then going to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you could say functioning alcoholic, functioning addict, whatever you want to call it. Going out every night didn't matter, and again, like I totally believe that God puts you through things,
Oh, 100%.
and he doesn't give you more than you can't handle. And I always look at it as I could have been in a lot worse situation, and I should have been, to tell you the truth. But I believe there's a purpose for everyone, whatever that purpose is, whatever you have to go through to get there, he's there with you. And he didn't put me through things that most people have to deal with and go through with. I'm very fortunate. I'm a very lucky person. And I thank him every day for that. Uh, But I totally believe my wife and my daughter and now my son, I mean, that's my purpose.
When you say functioning alcoholic, because to be real honest with you, I truly believe there are people that will function. They'll be extreme alcoholics and drug addicts, yet they can keep their job. They never lose their house. They never lose their car, and nothing ever hits like rock bottom for them. Yet they say to themselves, hey, man, I think life currently right now is not, as copacetic as I need it to be. And I'm recognizing that. And, as you know, I work in the substance abuse field very heavily. And I always tell people, you don't have to be the guy in the bando shooting dope in his neck or the girl selling herself in order to be considered an addict. Um, and there's like this understandable stigma from the outside looking in at people where they say, you know, well, they're fine. They're a weekend warrior. They drink, they go out, this and that. They haven't gotten any DUIs. They still have their house. They still have that, but they have no idea what's actually going inside your head and why you're trying to escape that reality. And is that something that kind of resonates with you when I say that?
Very much, very much. There's a sense of me that I always say that you, the movie It's a Wonderful Life, right? With Jimmy
Right.
Stewart. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like I always say that I'm the asshole version of him, that I am a broke fool, but I have the best family and best circle of friends that money can never buy. Like I
Yep.
am so fortunate. I am that character. Just, I'm not a sweetheart like Jimmy Stewart is.
Right.
And it resonates because I still drink. There's been times where I haven't drank for a month. There's times that I haven't drank for 3 months. There was a time that I didn't drink for 6 months. But yeah, like I mean, I'm not an angry drunk. I'm not a lazy drunk. I I believe that there's still something out there for me. Um, I don't play the victim.
Which so many people do.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, you know, let me give you an example of why. And I talk this way about her in front of everybody and anybody. This is not any type of uh clickbait stuff. I don't even know what